Ladies and gentlemen, today we are here with our very own Archduke of Austria, Franz Ferdinand, who will be parading in Bosnia tomorrow on the 28th of June, 1914.
Hi, thank you for having me. I love being here in Bosnia. You guys are my people. You guys.
We're glad that you're here too, Mr. Ferdinand. How was your trip to Bosnia?
Bosnia is great. I'm having a really good time. The hospitality is amazing. I really feel at home. And again, and the parade tomorrow, the parade's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna give one of my role plays tomorrow. It's gonna be pretty good, if I do say so myself. You guys are definitely gonna meet it.
That's great, Mr. Ferdinand. The people of Bosnia are very happy to have you here. But have you been hearing about your recent conspiracies on your assassination? Did I hit it?
Alright, thank you guys for having me. I'm really enjoying my time here, and I haven't really heard much of that. Any sort of take on my life is for surely going to ruin the Austrian government, but you know what, we just have to make sure that we have extra security. We can't let down the people, am I right?
Well, Mr. Ferdinand, we're delighted to have you here, and hopefully at the parade everything goes smoothly. Sir, Franz Ferdinand's dead.
What? I never liked him because he went against the church, but that's it. That's it. We are declaring war on Serbia now. Tomorrow's the day. The day we're going to battle.
You really want to start with a war with Germany?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. They took our land, killed our men. What would you do?
Yes, we support you, man.
Are we in alliance?
Our focus question is, what effects has World War I had on the world and affected our world today? There were four main causes that led to World War I. The first one was militarism, which is the belief in where countries build a strong armed force to prepare them for war. The second one was the alliance system, where countries agreed to support one another in case of an attack. Two alliances would emerge. The Triple Entente, which allied powers, France, Russia, Great Britain, and eventually the United States, would join their side. Then, the other one was Triple Alliance, which is the central powers of Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. The third cause was imperialism. Britain, France, Germany, Italy, and Russia all scrambled for colonies in Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. Each nation wanted new trade markets and the raw materials of these new regions. The fourth cause was nationalism, pride or devotion to one's country. Nationalism encouraged unity and also would pit nation against nation. The last main cause was when Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated by a Serbian terrorist group called the Black Hand. Woodrow Wilson, the 14 points, says, "They call us to say what it is that we desire, and what, if in anything, our purpose and our spirit differ from theirs. And I believe that the people of the United States would wish me to respond with utter simplicity and frankness, whether the present leaders believe it or not. It is our heartfelt desire and hope that some way may be opened whereby we may be privileged to assist the people of Russia to attain their utmost hope of liberty and ordered peace. It will be our wish and purpose that the processes of peace, when they are begun, shall be absolutely open, and that they shall involve and permit henceforth no secret understandings of any kind. The day of conquest and aggrandizement is gone by, so is also the day of secret covenants, entered into in the interest of particular governments and likely to some unlooked for moment to upset the peace of the world. It is this happy fact, now clear to the view of every public man, whose thoughts do not still linger in an age that is dead and gone, which makes it possible for every nation whose purposes are consistent with justice and the peace of the world to avow now or at any other time the objects it has in view. We entered this world because violations of right had occurred which touched us to the quick and made it the life of our own people impossible, unless they were corrected and the world secured once for all against their recurrence. What we demand in this war, therefore, is nothing peculiar to ourselves. It is that the world we made fit and safe to live in, and particularly that it be made safe for every peace-loving nation, which, like our own, wishes to live its own life, determine its own institutions, be assured of justice and fair dealing by the other peoples of the world as against force and selfish aggression. All the peoples of the world are in effect partners in this interest, and for our own part we see very clearly that unless justice be done to others, it will not be done to us.
At the beginning of the 20th century, China had the largest population. With 400 million people, the majority being peasants, they were primarily farmers. Social mobility was very rigid as the higher-ups bathed in the tax money from the lower classes. Chinese economy also did not rely on the outside sources. However, Japan, on the other, needed those outside sources with little to none farmable land. It was a necessity, and due to this type of economy, Japan's economy grew and evolved nearly 4 times as fast as China and other Western cultures did. While Japan had a booming economy, Sun Yat-sen was planning on overthrowing the government. He established the Guomindang in 1912, and after his death in 1925, Chiang Kai-shek took his place. However, the Guomindang failed, and China was still left in poverty.
It did a lot of good for this country. I want to make sure that the nationalist government makes sure that that succeeds in your honor.
After the Great War, the Ottoman Empire was left with nearly nothing. The new mandate system had taken the majority of the land from the Central Powers. However, in 1919, Mustafa Kemal was determined to modernize, Westernized the rest of the Ottoman Empire. He introduced radical changes in an attempt to Europeanize Turkey. The new mandate system hit Middle Eastern provinces rather hard as it usually resulted in oppression and heavy taxes. The Allied powers saw the states as land rather than actual countries. Continuing with the oppression, Jewish migration to Palestine also caused tensions to increase as they were established as a minority group. In conclusion, the Great War was initially started for reasons that ultimately could have been avoided, but in the end, Turkey finally got the radical changes it deserved. Russia went through some deep-seated changes, and so did China and Japan. World War affects us to this day, as the same fighting techniques are still used in this war and current wars. The technology used laid the fundamentals into which we improved upon them. This was one of the first wars where soldiers really came back with PTSD. It was also one of the first wars where countries began using propaganda to recruit soldiers and where people fought to have it end peacefully. All these things are with us today, and they still do affect us. All these contribute to the world as we know today, part of the legacy, part of our legacy.